yeah. So one of my videos, I talk about why I am living in a van in my 50s. I think that is almost the title of it. Why I'm living in my van in my 50s. Something to that effect. Anyway, so I talked in that video about a so-called friend who had promised me an amazing opportunity, which was to Airbnb her house, which I did for 3 years, and I became a super host during that time. And the money that was being raised from the Airbnb was going to go into a trust account that would be a deposit to buy the house off her. It was a loan, but it would enable me to get a deposit very quickly and then apply for a mortgage. And so for 3 years I built an Airbnb business, which was very successful. It raised $100,000 over that time. It was devastating when she reneged on that agreement and decided she would sell the house and asked us to leave. Pretty much kicked us out, my daughter and I, and that was incredibly devastating to lose all that money but you know what I have, I guess, discovered through this time alone and this healing process, you know, just traveling solo for a year and just, you know, really digging deep and working through stuff, I have accepted responsibility for a big part of that experience. You see, my instincts at the time told me that I should have had something in writing, a legal contract. And we'd talked about it on a number of occasions, but she was always travelling in her van and we never got around to doing it. It was one of those things, we'll get around to it, and it just kept being put off and put off. But my instincts told me that I should have had something legally written up, even though she was a friend and I trusted her. That's the problem. I trusted her more than I trusted myself. I put her promise before my instincts. My natural instincts were telling me that it didn't feel right and that I should secure this agreement with something in writing. And I put those feelings aside. I brushed off those instincts and put her trust before my trust. And I accept full responsibility for that. That was an error I made. That was a big error that then determined a completely different outcome. It took me on a whole new trajectory that was unexpected and pretty devastating at the time. But had I trusted my instincts and actually listened to my gut, what it was telling me, I wouldn't have got myself in this predicament in the first place, and I would be in a totally different situation. So that's one of the learnings that, a big learning from this experience, that I am accepting responsibility for what happened. But not only that, I am now looking back on that year when it happened, and I was, because of the housing crisis and the rental prices just being absolutely insane, just so expensive, that I, on my income, which was no longer Airbnb, so it was just Woolworths night fill and a little bit of casual work upon university was not going to be enough to financially support me on my own. And after 3 years of Airbnb and living with strangers, I didn't want to share accommodation with anyone. I'd had enough of it. So when I looked at the pricing of granny flats and one-bedroom units or studio apartments, they were outside of my reach for what my income was at the time. And so I looked at my van and I thought, well, I've fitted out this van. It wasn't completely finished. I'm going to move into my van and live on the Gold Coast for 4 months, work hard, do whatever needed to be done to upgrade the van so I could live in it. So I was so grateful that a friend, Craig, helped me so much with the upgrade of this van. In fact, he made it livable. So we put in lithium battery system, we put a solar panel in, we put an inverter, and all of that was able to be powered by the van being, when it was moving, to be charging the battery system. And then also it enabled me to be able to get power to the battery through the solar panel. So all of the stuff that wasn't done, Craig did all that for me. And he did some cabinetry work in the van also, and some storage, shelving and so forth. So made it so that I was able to live in it. So I'm extremely grateful for that. And so I moved into the van and I was living on the Gold Coast while this work was getting done as well to it. And then come January 17th, I decided that I would travel in the van. I had some money in the bank and I just thought, I've got this van, I might as well get in it and drive and explore this beautiful country that we live in, And so that's what I decided to do, and I didn't know really where I was going. I was heading south. And I was petrified, but I just faced my fears, jumped in the van and drove, trusting that it would all be okay and everything would be in flow. Looking back on that last year, especially the 10 months of traveling, I feel so incredibly grateful. It's been probably one of the most amazing experiences of my life. Traveling solo in Van Halen around quite a bit of Australia, not all of it by any stretch of the imagination, but I've seen some beautiful places in that 10 months, and I would not have done that had I been living in the house with a mortgage, being reliant on Airbnb and Booking.com to help me pay the mortgage, to service the mortgage, and to be completely tied, I'd say chained, to a huge debt my age, and having to do all that work every day just to make those mortgage payments instead of doing what I did, which was liberating. It was empowering. It was adventurous. It was healing. I have learned so much about myself. I have discovered that I have so much more courage and resilience than I ever imagined I did. And I have met friends on the way that are lifelong friends now, and the memories that I've created, I just say I am just so grateful. I am so grateful that that happened to me. At the time when you think something is so devastating and negatively impacting on your life, and then to discover months later that it is in fact a gift, and that there was a reason it happened, and that the universe actually is looking out for me, and that I am going to be okay. Not only okay, but have the most incredible adventure and time because of it, is just astounding. And so I now look at challenges as an opportunity to learn and grow and explore, and just trust that there are good outcomes from it. And that's an amazing lesson that I've learned in this life, in this last year. So thank you to my so-called friend for gifting me the amazing opportunity of liberation and exploration and adventure over the last year, instead of hindering me with debt and work, hard work that I don't think necessarily would have given me the quality of life that I really have enjoyed. Just minimalizing my life and selling everything up and going from a 3-bedroom house to a van. It's been an amazing gift. So just wanted to share that with you, that healing and that awareness, conscious awareness of things that happen in your life mostly happen for a reason. And if we can embrace the beautiful gifts and lessons from them, then we can be grateful for them. And that's what I choose to be. If you have just tuned into my YouTube channel, my name is Donna-Leigh Perfect. I'm a solo female van lifer in Australia, and I drive around in my Toyota Hiace van Halen. And I'm a 3 times published author. I have a children's series called The Adventures of Jessie and Rocky Rockstar. I'm also a keynote speaker on the topics of bullying, domestic violence and resilience. And I'm a children's entertainer and have a show called The Resilient Rockstar Show. I hope you enjoy my videos, and please take a moment just to hit the subscribe button to support me.